Alright, so this is a video for subtracting polynomials. It's going to be hopefully shorter. I already did adding polynomials, so if you're not sure how to add polynomials, you should probably watch that before you watch this one, because I'm going to kind of assume that there are things you already know because you watched that video. I also do have a video that's a larger video that's adding and subtracting together, so if you don't need to do individuals because you already mostly remember this and just need a quick recap, that would be the way to go. Alright, for subtracting polynomials, it is different than adding in one way. And that is, there is a minus sign in between the parentheses instead of a plus sign. And what that means is that negative is going to affect everything after it. And there's a bunch of different ways to do this. If you have a way that you already like, please use that. Some people just do the lineup and think of it as subtraction. What I like to do is I like to distribute it. I know some students distribute it and then change the signs within the parenthesis. I'll show you that. I know some people like to rewrite it. It really is up to you. If you already have a general idea of how you like to subtract polynomials, don't change it. Just, make sure you're comfortable with it. All right, so I need to distribute the negative through the second parenthesis. I don't distribute it through the first parenthesis because it's after the first parenthesis and the minus is only affecting the second parenthesis. If there's more, you might have to do a little bit more work to it, but all this distribution is going to do is it's going to change the sign of everything in the parenthesis. This was a positive 2x, it's now going to become a negative. This was a negative 4, it's now going to become a positive, and now I can change my negative to a plus. If that makes you uncomfortable and you're like, oh, I don't like that, then the other way you could do it, and this is just one way, you can also rewrite it. And then when you go to combine your terms, you already have the signs changed and you just want to collect your like. So once you have the distribution done, it really is just an addition subtraction problem, right? I have a 5x and a negative 2x, those are like. I have a 7 and a positive 4, and those are like. And I just go ahead and combine. 5x minus 2x is 3x, 7 plus 4 is 11. Not the only way to do it, right? You could have said, oh, 5x, right? We'll remember that that's a minus. You could have said 5x minus 2x is 3x, 7 minus 4 is 11, if you think that way. If you like this way better, where you do it horizontally, but you do distribute the sign and change it, then that's a fine way to do it as well. I'm giving you suggestions. If these don't work for you, you have an entire internet at your disposal. See if there's another method that someone shows that you like. Khan Academy's got good videos. There's all sorts of videos all over YouTube. But this is just a general idea. So let's do a second problem. I'll do this one, my preferred method, just so you can see it. What I like to do personally is I like to distribute my sign. That's going to change the sign of everything that follows. This was a plus, so now it's a minus. This was a minus, so now it's a plus. And this was a plus, so now it's a minus. And then what I do is I ignore, and actually you could even write it down under here right now, but what I do then is I ignore this because I've already changed the signs. And now I have 2x squared minus 1x squared. 3x plus 3x, which is 6x, and negative 4 minus 5, which is negative 9. Now, if you have a trouble with the signs, just use a calculator, okay? Just use a calculator, all right? If you struggle with adding and subtracting, that's okay. There are lots of adult humans in the world that function totally fine that struggle with signs of subtraction. If you struggle with signs of subtraction, use a calculator, okay? If they are the same sign, they will add and keep the sign. If they are opposite signs, they will subtract, and the bigger number will keep its sign. But if you can't remember that, just use a calculator, okay? All right, so that's one way to do it. I like this method and then just subtracting. Another method is to go ahead and do your distribution and then line them up as you're distributing. Okay, so negative, negative becomes a positive, negative, positive becomes a negative, negative, negative becomes a positive. 5 plus 3 is 8x squared. 2x minus 2x goes to 0. All right, if you have 2x's and I take them both, right, you have nothing left there. You do not need to put an x here. You don't even need to put a 0x if you don't want to. Just leave it gone. If it makes you happy to put a 0x, put a 0x. I don't mind. It's totally up to you. But just know that when they are identical and opposite signs, I get students all the time that tell me this. Because in your head, you go, oh, the 2's cancel. But then you're like, oh, but there's an x. I need to leave an x. You don't need to leave an x. It's no x's. And if you have no x's, it's just a 0, okay? But it's up to you. Like, if it makes you happy to leave a 0x, just be careful. When they are completely identical and opposite, they go to 0. You don't need to put an x there still. And then negative 6 plus 4 will subtract, and the big guy will keep its sign. So that would be another way to do it. There are multiple ways to do it, all right? Yeah. So that's the kind of the couple that I'm going to show you there, and I did it fast because if you already know how to add, then subtraction is just sign changing. If you have questions, you need to come to my office hours. I have office hours Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If those don't work for you, make sure you let me know, and we can just make an appointment to work together. And then remember, your big activity for the week for adding and subtracting is that Desmos activity that's going to ask you some different adding and subtracting questions. Okay, but if you have a question for me, make sure you get a hold of me. You can leave a comment here. You're better off probably emailing me or sending me a message in Classroom. Yeah, all right. So I'm sorry I can't be in class with you. I really wish I were in class instead of doing this. All right, I will talk to you later. Bye.